What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to go over my top 10 pick for Sinister Order since it releases. Cards that might have some impact in my mind that will do something valuable or has done something in a way that the decks now have a new strategy or a new powerhouse involved. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So first off, we have Wizardmon. If you guys don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, why would we be playing this? I wouldn't be surprised if, again, eventually this card could be a very powerful tech in any yellow or purple based deck. The fact that it minuses the board of all your opponent's Digimon for an on play or when digivolving, yes, it is an expensive 3 cost or it's a 5 cost play. But again, being able to wipe out a board of, let's say, Belphemon tokens or a board of a small rush style, you're not going to really care if you kill off so many threats. Again, things like that are vitally important in some matchups, and the fact that it gives barrier is a useful tech. I think at the end of the day, a lot of players are going to write this card off as terrible, but being able to do like trash the top 2 cards of your deck and all your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn is very powerful, and it'll see probably play in none other than Deusmon. But stuff like that is super vitally important. And again, you do have, you know, when an effect trashes this card from deck or security stack, give one of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1 until the end of turn. Again, I think this is also supposed to combo in with, you know, Deusmon support, but we'll have to see long-term wise. I think the combination this card has for future potential, especially being able to control boards, and if all of a sudden there's more coming that, you know, especially because if it's trash from the security stack, is an effect that, you know, is beneficial for certain yellow decks, will lead into value, right? Being able to minus security attack 1 until the end of turn is really good. Now, we do have Agumon. So Agumon here wouldn't seem like the biggest pick out overall. There's so many other great cards players would say, but because of the potential it brings, start of main phase, return 1 buyer's traded Digimon when Greymon is named from your trash to your hand. Right now, we are at the point where, you know, we have Greymon X at 1. So that Greymon X is such a vitally key fundamental piece that at times you want to be able to get that piece back, and because we're restricted to 1, once it goes to the trash once, you're very much challenged to try and get another copy back. So again, there's not like a calling from darkness for this deck and stuff like that. People were teching in certain reptile based cards to try to pull it back. So, you know, now with Agumon being in the deck, you know, you may return 1 buyer's trait card. Being able to do that at the start of main phase comes up out of raising. It's a great comeback potential card, and being able to give 1000 DP on all turns is really solid. And again, we have the BlackWarGreymon that basically draws anytime you're suspended, so it'll combo in nicely, and the new support is very fantastic. I was challenged to basically say it was either this or Cometmon, in my opinion, that I would put here, and I went with Agumon because, again, being able to get back basically your whole line and getting a piece back in this game is always vitally strong, and being able to go like, you know what, my hand's kind of decently fine, I'm missing, you know, that 1 metal Greymon, get back, you know, it has proven even with Digimon, you know, that gets back pieces back to their hand, and that's where the looping happens and stuff. You know, at the end of the day, once that starts happening, decks really get like a second hand once their trash is now accessible. So, and again, this is black and red, which usually don't have a easy way of getting pieces back from their trash naturally, right? So just something to think about. I think Agumon's a great 9th place. Now, we do have God Grade Unleash. So this card is, if you have a Digimon or Tamer with app traits on the field, ignore the color requirements, is a draw and then place it into the battle area for 2. But when an effect trashes any of your Digimon's link card delay, you may link 1 card with Apocalymon traits from your trash to one of your other Digimon without paying its cost. This is not future-proofed. So, well, it is app restricted, right? You need to put an app link, but this now lets you use it for any deck that wants to splash in apps. So future decks that we have, like the Three Musketeers, the other Appley decks, you know, now we have access with their Appley cards to basically guarantee that we can link them back in. So I think at the end of the day, this card is going to see play in almost any Appley deck going forwards. This card is just that good for the deck's overall design. And again, God Great Unleash is a very powerful card, just being able to draw and then place into the battle area. Now we do have Cometmon. So it isn't actually for most of its effects. I mean, it's got a great collision. It's got a on play when digivolving, you may link one level 4 or lower Digimon from your hand as this Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying its cost. So yeah, we kind of get this concept with Comet as well. You know, the looking like, you know, Nibiru, but all turns when effect trashes any of this Digimon's links, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 8,000 DP for the turn. So again, being able to answer response, especially with certain apps combinations, when effect trashes any of this Digimon's links, you know, do this. Very powerful skill at the end of the day. I think being able to minus 8,000 DP just by, you know, what this deck naturally is going to do is trash and then reattach is always good. But with Comet's ability of all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area by trashing one of its link cards, it doesn't leave. This is huge for a lot of the Appley decks because that is one of their bigger weaknesses, is that they kind of can't stick on the board long. Again, being able to shut that off is really good. And if I remember correctly, there's one that prevents Digivolution too. If I remember correctly, let's see. This one, nope. Or there was something, okay, Comet, Warp. When trash Digivolve effects don't affect this. Warpmon and Cometmon are like one of the bigger options here. I was up on the fence between both. I went with not leaving the battle area, but this one's also a close second just because this one's a cheap link, but also by trashing this Digimon's link, the Digivolve effects don't affect one of your Digimon until the opponent's end phase. The Digivolution prevention is huge now, and it's becoming more needed, but I definitely think the fact of the matter is the all turns effect is just a very powerful skill while Comet is there, and as long as you have Warpmon linked to Comet, it just makes it a very hard sticky body to remove. So just something to think about. I think at the end of the day, the link Digivolution prevention and, you know, the all turn skill of Comet is just that good. Now we have Paradise Lost. This card is nuts. To be honest with you, being able to, you know, ignore color requirements until the end of as long as you have a Lucemon, but end of turn, if you have a Digimon with Lucemon in its name, by returning this card to the bottom of the deck, trash your top security card and one of your opponent's Digimon attacks without suspending. So not bad. But main, until the end of turn, one of your Digimon with Lucemon in its name gets Raid, Piercing, Blocker, and plus 3,000 DP. So, Lucemon being able to be this beefy, having Blocker, Raid, Piercing is huge. Again, makes Lucemon very much a powerhouse that it always knows and wants to be. And being Paradise Lost shows how powerful this card is. Again, being able to boost your level 5 up, you're being able to now guaranteed Raid, Piercing, and Blocker, depending on what you want to do that turn, can lead to your opponent having some nasty feedback, right? And it's funny too, because one of your Digimon attacks without suspending, so it guarantees that basically you can target at the end phase after activating this card that you get to raid into something, pierce, and still have Blocker up, which again, great synergy with the deck's overall scheme. Now Apocalymon. So Apocalymon had to make my list because I'm a huge Apocalymon fan. On play, when Digivolving, you may play one of each Dark Master trait card with different names from this Digivolution without paying its cost. Then all your Dark Master traded Digimon gain rush until the end of turn. At the end of turn, delete the Digimon played by this effect. Really great skill being able to take the sources, because again, what you're going to be doing is when this Digimon would be played by placing one of each face-up Dark Master traded card with different names from security stack under this Digimon, reduce the place cost by 4 for each card place. So Apocalymon being able to come in for 4, 8, 16 for 16 reduced, becoming in for 1 if you have all of them in there. Apocalymon is a very scary card, and I wouldn't be surprised long-term wise if this deck really pops off, right? Apocalymon being this powerhouse and being able to just fundamentally change up the deck's overall design, and now being able to now be a functioning deck without milling out your opponent. Really good. Apocalymon now changing up to being able to have your Dark Masters in security as face-up cards, and then basically guaranteeing with the spiral is really good. I think the deck's overall change is really a great way of trying to end the game, which again, it's now not super lore accurate, but you know, it fits, right? Because technically it is lore accurate to the extent because it was able to use these Digimon in that were deleted, all the evil ones, as attacks. So yeah, it makes sense. Now, Lucemon Satan mode. So, compared to the old one, this is a complete upgrade. Being an on-play when digivolving, play one Lucemon larva from your trash to an empty breeding area without paying its cost. Delete all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level. When digivolving, when attacking your opponent's Digimon, your opponent may delete one of their Digimon or Tamer. If it doesn't delete, trash the top security card, this Digimon unsuspends. So it's a once per turn, being able to guarantee damage and being able to be a pain in the rear. So Lucemon Satan mode definitely made the list because of that, and being a upgrade from its older self. I think paired to its secret, this one blows that one out of the water. You know, being able to guarantee that your opponent either deletes a Digimon or Tamer, or they're losing a security stack and this Digimon will get another attack in, is always scary to me. Now, Deusmon. So Deusmon is a security attack 1, link 1. When digivolving end of opponent's turn, you may link one card from your hand to the Digimon's without paying its cost. Then when you link one card from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to this Digimon without paying its cost as well. Being able to have an end opponent skill to relink cards, especially because this deck centralizes on trashing their stuff and has a different protection based stuff, is really good. You know, Deusmon also all turns when effect trashes any of this Digimon's link cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon at the lowest play cost. So basically, you have now a way of answering threats on the board and kind of turtling out. So again, Deusmon has a good value to it, and I think being able to play the deck how it was meant to has a lot of potential, and I think Deusmon is a very powerful card and probably the better of the secrets. Now, we do have Belphemon Rage Mode. Like I said before, something that I really wanted to make sure was cards that kind of had change-ups. Belphemon Rage Mode fixes a little bit of its issues because of Showing of Time. You know, the old one was a security attack 1 plus DP, but you know, start a main phase, suspend all your opponent's level 5 or lowers. Then if you have 6 or fewer cards in your hand, this Digimon gains piercing, security attack 1 plus 3000 DP. Start a main phase on play when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon and Tamers. So basically guarantees to remove something. If you digivolve this thing, you're deleting a Tamer, suspending, you know, that's all great stuff. And being able to play the hide and go seek with, you know, sleep mode is really good, and sleep mode helps fuel rage mode at every single way. So being able to do everything this deck wants for a new way, and especially with Belphemon X coming, now the combinations is very scary, because again, security attack plus 1 is scary, but now it's 2, so it's dealing 3 damage at, you know, 17. Most decks don't have a way of stopping this in a natural attack order, and the only way this thing is dying is probably through an option. But who plays options that remove threats anymore? Very few decks in between. So again, just Belphemon Rage Mode being this powerhouse is always good. Now you do have BlackWarGreymon Ace that has Raid, Reboot, and Blocker. So this one is on here as the final one because overall BlackWarGreymon Ace fixes a little bit of issues that all the deck had for a bit. You know, Being on play when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's play costs, 7 or lower Digimon or Tamers. But because there wasn't an innate protection, so all turns while your opponent has a 13,000 DP or more, or your opponent's Digimon effect, your opponent's Digimon effects do not affect this Digimon, and it gets plus 3,000 DP. Because not anybody's really running options, being able to have BlackWarGreymon guarantee that it has some sort of protection. Again, we have a lot of decks that boost their DP, but we also have an ability that allows us to boost their Digimon. So if we can get them to that 13, we can basically guarantee that we're shutting them down for a turn. So, while your opponent has one, it's not a bad trade-off. And I think at the end of the day, while the protection is not going to be that broken, like a Agumon X or a Magna X, BlackWarGreymon Ace definitely shows how powerful he can be. Just being able to play the game how it wants to is really solid. And again, there are decks that climb up. So again, I think BlackWarGreymon Ace will definitely see a lot of competitive play. Just being able to delete Tamers, that's huge. Just any interaction to shut down, combat tricks and stuff like that, really good. I think being able to have Raid, Reboot, and Blocker as keywords are really good. Blast Evolve is solid as well. I think this card will see some play. So guys, let me know down in the comments what your top 10 cards are. And guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.